everyone and welcome to Easy Learning. We are going to start with QBA preparation soon, and before we get into it, let's cover the QBA requirements and procedures. So QBA stands for Qualified Behavior Analyst, which is a credential by QABA board. You can basically work as a supervisor for behavior therapist, you can work as a behavior analyst, you can create treatment plans, you can do the data interpretation and everything. So it's more like the level 3 of ABA therapy credential, the expert level credential of ABA therapy. All these details are available on QABA board's website. You can simply visit their website, you can go into the credentials QABA, and then all the details are mentioned here. So first of all, we will cover the requirements and procedures of QBA. To become an eligible candidate for QBA credential, you have to meet all these requirements. The fee is $350 for the first attempt and $225 for the retake fee. But if you're from any underdevelopment countries, you can simply apply for the discount and you will basically get a discount on the total fee of the exam. For a QBA, you must have a minimum of a master's degree in a related field. So that could be about ABA, psychology, special education, or any related field. You should also have 270 hours of approved course work. So that is about the training. You should have 270 hours of training, including 20 hours of supervision coursework, 20 hours of coursework in ethics, and 20 hours in autism core knowledge. So this is about the training hours. For the fieldwork hours, you should have 1500 hours, out of which 900 hours can be indirect in the role of oversight or supervision, and there should be at least 600 direct hours. You will also need recommendation from the supervisor, background check attestation form. You have to pass the QB exam. Obviously, once you have completed your training, once you have completed your fieldwork hours, you can simply apply for the exam of QBA. And once you pass this, you would be a QBA. So for that, you have to agree to the code of ethics and renewal requirements as well. So basically, then there will be a final review of all the eligibility criteria at the QABA Credentialing Board of Directors, and then they will place your credential on the public registry. Once you have become a QBA, biannual renewal required. So basically you have to apply for renewal after every 2 years. So as you can see, there is a new rule. There's a change in policy related to fieldwork hours from January 2026. The fieldwork hours will be 2000 instead of 1500. So instead of 900 indirect hours, you have to finish at least a minimum of 1200 indirect hours, and instead of 600 direct hours, you have to complete 800 direct hours at least. However, if you begin your fieldwork before this date, you don't have to complete 2000 fieldwork hours. Instead, you have to finish 1500 fieldwork hours. However, these hours should be completed within the 3 years of the starting date. Now, coming towards the work experience requirement. As we said, QBA requires 1500 hours of fieldwork. Along with that, the QBA is required to meet with his or her supervisor for 5% of the time every 3 months. And basically, this rule changed in January 1st, 2024, when the time period of 3 months changed into 30-day period. So you have to basically provide supervision of 5% of the total hour during this period. So all these be in compliance with HIPAA regulations. Also, 50% of this supervision can be done in a group setting. And remember that you can only start the fieldwork hour supervision once you have started your 270 hours coursework or training hours. So for example, even if you have a master's degree but you have not started your training for QBA, your hours, your fieldwork hours won't count until unless you have started the training as well. However, if the coursework is built within the master's program, you can basically start accruing the hours after the first day of your first coursework class, not the university or overall academic class. So your valid supervisors for QBA training and fieldwork can be QBA, certified behavior analyst from an accredited certifying body like a BCBA or maybe an IBA, licensed behavior analyst or licensed psychologist who demonstrate they have ABA within their scope of practice. So the supervisors must have an active and valid certification. However, once you have passed your exam, once you have cleared your QBA exam, you are an independent practitioner and you don't require supervisor after that. So basically, there should also be a contract agreement between the supervisor and the applicant, and that agreement should clearly identify the supervisor and the supervisee, their credentials, certifications, number, expectations, and a statement of following the QABA mission, code of ethics, rules, policies, competency standard, and all that related to ABA. So all these documents would be required to be submitted to the QABA board and they will further review the documents. So the supervision activities can include performing assessments, implementing and comprehensively monitoring skill acquisition and behavior reduction programs, creating plans, creating behaviors or treatment plans, attending planning meetings, collecting data for the assessment, training others, overseeing the implementation of behavior analytic programs, communication and review of peer reviewed research. However, the fieldwork hours that will not count as supervised hours include participating in a meeting that are not specific to the person centered planning process and implementation of plans that are not based in evidence based practice, and the documentation other than the data collection, graph, progress note, or any administrative work such as filing client form, entering their information. All these does not count in fieldwork hour. Now, the direct fieldwork hours that we talked about and that are needed, and 600 direct hours are needed. Basically, these are accredited. These are accrued during the fieldwork supervision and are direct in nature. These cannot be more than 40% of your fieldwork experience, and these does not require a supervisee to engage in the requirement during every supervision period. However, for indirect fieldwork supervisions can include data analysis, training with stakeholders, conducting assessment and reports, conducting research and programs, ensuring client program fidelity, and this covers 60% of your fieldwork experience and can be and maybe 100% of your total hours. These requirements does not require a supervisee. So while you are preparing for QBA, while you are taking the training, while you are completing the fieldwork hours, you must be actively practicing ABA in some capacity, and it should not be less than 20 per month and not more than 140 hours per month. The fieldwork hours should be completed within a 7 years period, and if you have not started your coursework, you cannot add the fieldwork hours. As for documentation, the supervision must be documented using the QABA supervision log every 90 days. So basically, it is the responsibility of the supervisor and supervisee to accurately track and maintain all the supervision documentations, and they must use the official QABA forms for documenting ongoing supervision and final verifications. No modified or substitutes form will be accepted. So other than that, one professional recommendation is required, one from your evaluator, supervisor, administrator of choice, focusing on your qualification and experience working with and supporting individual diagnosed with autism. And you must agree to the eligibility agreement, which include agreement to work under the code of ethics, acknowledgement of the renewal requirements, agree to the terms of listing on the ABA registry, and agree to the general terms and conditions. You can visit each of these rules and regulations, each of these links to further identify, or we will also cover it by the end of the preparation. You will need government issued photo ID, certification of completion of training hours, current background check or background attestation form, copy of your master's degree or equivalent, submission of your supervisor's name and email address. Coming towards the examination, or before the examination, all the documents, everything that you have submitted will need to be completed, verified, and approved. And once it's done, You can schedule your examination and you are given 3 hours to complete the QBA exam. However, if you need more time due to any disability, you can complete the exam accommodation applications. This exam also consists of 125 questions, out of which 100 questions are marked and 25 questions are unmarked. However, the marked questions won't be mentioned as marked, so you have to be very careful in answering all 125 questions to the best of your ability. As we talked about the cost, it was $350 and the retake fee was $225. You can still qualify for discounted pricing if you are a resident of developing countries. You can retake the exam after 30 days if you fail to pass in. Also, candidates are not allowed to take more than 4 times the test after their first exam attempt.